So plan today is I'm going to try get this all painted, not all of it, or just make a start on this big tower. There is another bit which goes on top. And I'm going to talk a little bit about my campaign game, my Trench Crusade campaign game, which I played on the weekend. And that was against the Red Brigade with my Caught the Seven-Headed Serpent. So we're going to do some painting. I'm going to talk a bit about the game, a little bit about the post-game, and some decisions I've got to make in regards to the list and updates to the list, which I'm considering before my next campaign game. So let's get into painting. I played the game on Saturday. I was playing against Dan, or Balthazar, in the Discord. Fantastic opponent, lovely, lovely chap. He was great to talk to, great to play against, and I look forward to playing him again. Yeah, so he was playing his Red Brigade. I was playing my Caught the Seven-Headed Serpent. If you've watched some of the other episodes in this series, I've talked a little bit about the list I'm running. There's been no major changes except for the addition of a pit locust to the list prior to the game, because I had to go to the reinforcement step because I lost my Praetor and I lost my Wretched, but that really didn't matter. The Praetor's loss was an absolute blow, so I had to rebuy him, which only left me a couple of stuff left, so I decided to go for the pit locust, just something fast which can tie up stuff and get objectives, which was how I wanted to sort of play him. So Dan was playing the Red Brigade, a faction which is going to be the first faction of the Forces of Heaven, which I'm going to be playing, so I was really keen to see how they played. He was running a lieutenant, a sniper priest with a machine gun, a sniper priest with a sniper rifle, 3 mechanized heavy infantry, 1 with a machine gun, and then 2 of them were carrying the big shields which give cover. Yeah, and then they had like shotguns, and yeah, they were just very tough and they could take a lot of damage. So that's what Dan was playing. Oh yeah, so I'm just painting this off-white. I added some Karak stone to some Gracia just to sort of warm up the grey a bit, and I'm just going to use that as like the base. So yeah, so that was what I was playing against. It was the second game and we had a threshold of 800 ducats. We had both had to go to the reinforcement step, so going into the game we were very much being sort of cautious with not wanting to go to the reinforcement step again. Playing a custom scenario. The scenario being there were 5 objectives, and the idea was to make sure that terrain-wise you put like buildings or something which you can fight over to represent the objectives. At the end of every round, you would score a victory point for each objective you had control over. There were a couple of glorious deeds, but that didn't really come into play because none of us scored any glorious deeds that game. Also to mention, there were these 2 machine gun tokens, so kind of just like static machine gun emplacements, which I thought was pretty cool. I did manage to use them, but as you will find out soon, not to much effect. Deployment wise, it was very standard, I guess, in terms of playing Caught the Seven-Headed Serpent. I made sure my blood battery was hidden, my sorcerer was hidden behind some cover, because the good thing about flying, you don't have to roll for climbing stuff. So if you've got a piece of terrain which you can get on top of and to get some line of sight, stick him behind it and he should be good. So hid those, and then just hid everything else because I was very wary about the 2 sniper priests. I moved up my pit locust first thing to try get him closer to the center objective. I just wanted to sort of start making a play for it because I wanted to use that movement which the pit locust has. He's got an 8-inch move, he has flying. So I wanted to use that to sort of start contesting. But I moved him, I thought he was going to be in cover, but on Dan's turn, he was able to move his sniper priest and get a shot off on the pit locust, but thankfully, the pit locust survived. So, but he did go down, which was a bit of a blow, but not it could have gone a lot worse. And then just round 1 was very much just moving and positioning, getting blood onto my Wretched, which my Yoke Fiend was able to get some gas grenades off, this game, which the last game he didn't. And they're, yeah, just sort of accumulating that blood and setting up for goetic powers and stuff like that. Kept my Hell Knight hidden on the objective closest to me, and then I moved the Praetor to threaten the bottommost left objective. And that was basically just turn one. It was just very much not a lot happening. So yeah, I'm just gonna give us a good couple of coats, and then I'll probably increase the brightness of it. This will be weathered quite heavily, so I'm just gonna keep painting this, and then we'll get on to round two. So I don't know if it was round one or round two when this happened, but one of the key events, one of the defining moments of the game was Dan's machine gun sniper priest wanted to get on top of a building, but the piece of terrain he wanted to climb was over 3 inches. And if a piece of terrain is over 3 inches and you want to climb it, you have to take it. So just 2 dice, try to get over a 7. If you succeed, you're able to climb it. If you don't, you fall. Now for full damage, you have to roll an injury roll, and for each additional 3 inches, you add a d6 to it. So he was only rolling straight dice, even dice, and he needed a 7. Unfortunately, he did not get a 7. And then I rolled the injury, and unfortunately for the sniper priest, but more fortunately for myself, he fell to his demise and was taken out of action before he could fire a shot. We both laughed about it, but yeah, that was quite a result. But yeah, so the heavy infantry model with the machine gun just moved up. He took a couple of shots, and then he moved up another one behind it. I was able to use some of the blood, and I moved up my sorcerer, and I just fired a pot shot with a burning inferno. I managed to get some blood, but nothing significant. And then it was just a lot of movement. I moved up my hound more. He was able to dash and move, even though his movement characteristics were halved. He was able to get onto the objective to start scoring. The Praetor moved on to the bottom objective and started scoring with that. He took a couple of pot shots with his Serpent Assault gun, but wasn't able to get anything significant. A lot of shots being taken, a lot of blood being put around. So that was quite an eventful turn two in terms of everybody losing their mind that the sniper priest fell to his demise. So yeah, let's move on to round three. So round three was much the same, more pot shots, more sort of removing a blood, trying to get something to happen. But the machine armor guys they're just so tough, especially with the big shields, because that, like I said, it provides cover. And if they've got the heavy mechanized armor, they treat downed as a minor hit, which is quite annoying. But it's pretty good, and they really don't want to move anywhere. We managed to get a mechanized heavy infantry onto the center objective, so that contested with the pit locust, so that one was gone. One of my objectives, personal objectives, I think if you're playing, you should always give yourself something fun to sort of try and do. I decided that I wanted to get at least somebody onto the machine gun token on my sort of half of the board. So I decided to send one of the Wretched from the Blood Battery running towards it. Probably not the best choice, seeming he's got minus dice to his ranged attacks, which really did not help him. Bit of foreshadowing. But I decided I just want someone on it. So I sent him over. He decided to dash across no man's land. The sniper priest took a pot shot at him, and he missed. Which was pretty good, because in the next round he was able to get onto the machine gun and start shooting, and it didn't really go too well. I say nothing happened. I did manage to take out his mechanized infantry with the machine gun. The amount of shots he was able to put out was just a little bit too threatening, I wanted to get rid of him because the other ones had heavy shotguns, so the range disparity is quite big between the two weapons. So I just kind of wanted to focus that down and to try and get rid of his sniper priest, but I wasn't able to get rid of the other sniper priest. Couldn't touch his lieutenant because his lieutenant was all the way on his side of the board, capping his home objective. So there was no way I could touch that, which is unfortunate, but that's okay. So yeah, that was round 3. Round 4 is when stuff sort of really started to take off. One of his mechanized heavy infantry guys came down to the bottom center objective, shot up my Praetor, managed to charge him and take his tough basically, which was really bad because I was just getting flashbacks from the last game where I lost him and I really did not want to lose him again. So he tried to swing back, but nothing really happened. They were just hitting each other. I did forget the fear rule, so I'm going to try and remember that for next time. So yeah, they just stood there contesting the objective. It was at this point I started to move my Hell Knight up towards the top center objective because he was moving his sniper priest towards it, and I wanted to contest it. So I pulled him basically out of reserve to move him up. The center objective was being fought over with the Pit Hound against the other mechanized heavy infantry, and they got into close combat and they were just fighting each other. Not much happened, but it did lock down that objective to the point where at turn 4, all but 2 objectives were contested, so we were just going to score 1 point each, and something needed to happen to break that sort of stalemate. So in round 5, the first combat was the Praetor versus the mechanized heavy infantry. Nothing happened. They just hit each other and they both survived, thankfully. The Pit Locust managed to take out the mechanized heavy infantry which it was fighting, and that just freed up the center objective for me so that I could score that at the end of the round. And then lastly, my Hell Knight tried to throw a gas grenade at the sniper priest which was contesting the top objective, but he missed, so I threw a burning inferno with my sorcerer and managed to take the sniper priest out, which freed up that objective, which meant on the end of that turn I was scoring 4 and Dan was only scoring 1. So it was a massive swing in my favour, and it meant that I was able to secure victory for the Court of the Seven-Headed Serpent. Now, the Wretched, on his machine gun, through all these rounds, he fired so many shots, and he missed every single one, barring 1, which goes to show firing something at just base minus range dice isn't really too great. But yeah, we had a fantastic game. I really enjoyed myself. Thank you, Dan, for the great game. I had a lot of fun, and I'm glad both of our warbands didn't have to go to the reinforcement step after the game, which would have been the biggest loss, really. So I think even though it was a victory for the court, it was still a victory for both sides, as none of us had to reinforce again. So I was very happy with that. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep painting, then I'm gonna talk a little bit about the post-game and some thoughts behind going forward. Yeah, exploration. So after a game, your warband gets to explore. I rolled 3 5s. I used a reroll. I used both my rerolls, and on my last reroll, I rolled another 5, and that basically means I don't find anything on the exploration table, which was fine, but I'm getting ahead of myself. The trauma step, the most important step. So thankfully, I didn't lose a single model. None of them were taken out of action, so I got no injuries on them. And fortunately for Dan and the Red Brigade, they all made full recoveries, which was fantastic, except for one, and he only The only thing he got was that he has to miss the next game, but he's like fine. He does get an injury, but he was completely fine. But yeah, all the rest of his warband, full recovery, which was, so yeah, we're really happy with the results for that. My sorcerer got promoted. He got glory hound, so which will be good because I don't actually have any glory, which really sucks. I think I might do because I did get a glorious deed in the first game, which I haven't added on. So I'll just work that out. Nobody else got, none of my elites got anything else. My pit locust did manage to make its promotion to elite, which I'm really happy with. Exploration, yeah, I wasn't able to find anything, but I did end up getting 150 ducats, which was really good. So it's just now a matter of deciding what to spend those on. So first, I wanted to get a restraining muzzle for my Yoke Fiend because I've completely forgot he doesn't have a restraining muzzle, which gives him +1 to his range dice, which really helps with like, well, throwing the grenades at the wretched. Because throwing it at straight dice really sucks, as the first game I had with the court taught me. So I was thinking of doing that, but if I did that, then I wouldn't have much else to spend my ducats on, except like there were a couple of options which were available to me. So first option is I do the muzzles on the Yoke Fiends, and then I get 2 Yoke Fiends with flamethrowers, just to be sort of anti-armor, anti-Black Grail, a bit more fire in the warband, barring the Burning Inferno. Another part of me, another option was I could get another Pit Locust, so I could have 2 mobile threats which can run up the board and clog stuff up. My third option is I can sell some of my equipment and get a Hunter of the Left-Hand Path, which could potentially upgrade throughout the campaign, and just as a sort of deterrent to be able to sort of assassinate artillery witches and other sort of backline shooting elements another warband might have. So I was tempted with that, or getting a Hell Knight with an Ophidian rifle. I'm very tempted to go more towards that Hunter of the Left-Hand Path. I would have to make some cuts, and it would be a big chunk out of my like blood expenditure because it requires a lot of blood to operate. If I do that and I don't have a Yoke Fiend with a restraining muzzle, it kind of decreases the chances of being able to efficiently get the blood onto those wretched, especially if I'm playing against a Black Grail faction. Thankfully, there is no other Court of the Seven-Headed Serpent in the campaign, but there is a Black Grail one. So if I go up against that, and you know, I've got Yoke Fiends without restraining muzzles, my sort of blood expenditure, while my blood production is going to drastically decrease. So yeah, it's just a lot of things to think about in terms of where I want these ducats to go. Yeah, those are the sort of thought processes I'm going through post-game. If you have any suggestions, let me know. I am all ears for suggestions, but I am very much tempted to go Hunter of the Left-Hand Path because I think his rules are super cool. And I guess that's the most important thing. If something's cool to you, then do the cool thing. And that's probably all I've got time for in this video. If you've enjoyed yourself, make sure to like, comment, and if you did really enjoy yourself, make sure to subscribe for more Trench, Crusade, and painting content. It was a great game. Again, thank you, Dan, for the game. I look forward to playing you again in the campaign and also casually as well. But yeah, I'll get this finished. But yeah, until next time, I've been painting from the loam. Goodbye.